Hi all, it's Nicole Aleph and welcome to our third part of the series, How to Create a Detail. We've already drawn the street network of the town, and now we will differentiate between the different street types. We use two types, main streets and auxiliary streets. Let's first select the main streets. We bring them to the top. And we'll change their attribute type, integer, to a specific value, or let's say type string, or just type integer. Alright, let's change only the selected streets to type integer value 1 and all the other by inverted assertion to 2. And we'll base our symbology on the attribute type integer, which as of date has two values, 1 and 2. 1 will be our main streets and 2 will be the auxiliary ones. We type the labels in Bulgarian. Alright, that's the main result. It's hardly noticeable, however, but the main streets have a bigger line weight. We got another value that will be we will increase the line weight because, as I said, they're hardly visible, and the difference between the main streets and the auxiliary ones has to be quite significant, at least 0.5 millimeters in difference. And we're at the value 1, which will be our roads, main roads that pass through the town, and the value 2 will be the main streets, and the value 3 will be the auxiliary ones. And we will just change the values now of the distance between the axis of the street and the outside edge. It's a bit generalized, but it will do the job. Let's make the query, and we will base the query on the values of the type int parameter. That means when type int is 1, then the distance between the axis and the outside edge will be 7 meters. When type int is 2, then the distance will be, and we will type the value. Let's change it to 7.5 to be more visible. 6 and 5. Alright, and it filled our column area dist, which is axis dist, pardon me, which is the distance. We'll use that same distance for our buffer, which will lay the groundwork for our zoning later. Let's select the layer street detail, we select the distance field, and number of segments, we'll use one segment, and as you can see, it created the layer. It's a temporary layer, and now we're going to create our real layer for the zoning. Yes, as you can see, it has already transferred the parameters. Let's save this layer as a new layer, or we'll prefer maybe to create a new layer, because we will not need the attribute axis distance of this layer. Let's save the layer as a name of zoning. And add the saved file to the map. Remove the temporary buffer layer, which was the same as this layer, and we'll start preparing the symbology. As you can see, it's all different elements. Every street has its according polygon around it. Alright, we move it to the top so that we can see the buffers and the zones. Let's make a categorized symbology based on the type-int parameter. We'll add a new parameter which will be zname integer, which will be our zone name in integer code. And another parameter, zname string, which will be the zone name with its according string value. We will delete the unnecessary fields, and now we will transfer the attributes to the zname int attribute. We've already selected the auxiliary street network, and now this is the main roads passing through the town. We will type the values. For 1, we will use residential areas, 2 public areas, 3 parks and recreations, 4 production zone, 5 public and production zones, 6 rivers, 7 green areas near rivers, 8 main roads, and 9 auxiliary roads. And now we will base our legend on that list. We will just copy and paste the values from our Word file. And let's start pasting. Just delete the number in front of the name. And we change the symbology colors of each attribute value. This is really simple stuff, that's why I decided to speed it up 400%. Let's change the snapping options. And we are ready to start drawing. We've already copied the boundary of the town to the layer, and now we will name it urban zone, in this case urban residential areas. We don't need anymore the attribute type integer, but for now we will keep it. And so we have as of now 3 types of zones: streets, this one that is selected is urban residential zones, and mainnet auxiliary streets. And now by selecting each separate zone we created, we will split it and therefore create new zones and specify their usage. Of course, as you already know, of course, not every part of the town is residential, and that's why we will split our existing residential zones to different types and redefine them. That's the fastest way I've come across. Just copy the boundaries of the town by using the void intersection value to avoid overlapping the already created streets, and then split the values. First split multi-part features and then split single features like that. As you can see, this is the school. We will use number 3 codes. This is a stadium, and we have also some other areas of recreation. And we have a river that we will separate now. We will use the coding code of it and also build around it a protective layer of green belt, a protective green belt of trees. I'm a bit lost for words. Alright, this is the next segment. We just split it and it's done pretty fast, and it's very easy to do and fun. And after splitting, we just assign the correct values of the attribute zone integer and it changes symbology. So that was part 3 of our series. It's very fun, and we created the zoning in the town, and see you in the next part where we will print the map. It was Nicole Wale from ArcPro, signing off.